Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Kedar, Leo, give this book to him. Enlightenment in 7 days. Kore, その後日本語田中さん。
Enlightenment in 7 days. A modern master describes how the Buddha had encouraged his monks.
Read it slowly, huh? Slowly.
A modern master described how the Buddha had encouraged his monks by stating that those who practiced diligently would surely be enlightened in 7 days, or if not in 7 days, then in 7 months or 7 years. A young American monk heard this and asked if it was still true. The master, Achan Cha, promised that if the young monk was continuously mindful without break for only 7 days, he would be enlightened. Excitedly, the young monk started his 7 days, only to be lost in forgetfulness 10 minutes later. Coming back to himself, he again started his 7 days, only to become lost once more in mindless thoughts, perhaps about what he would do after his enlightenment. Again and again, he began his 7 days, and again he lost his continuity of mindfulness. A week later, he was not enlightened, but had become very much aware of his habitual fantasies and wandering of mind. A most instructive way to begin his practice on the path to real awakening.
「永遠の物語」7日間での悟り。近年ある同志が述べたことですが、ブッダは弟子たちに修行の実践を強く奨励していました。一心不乱に修行をしたら7日間のうちに悟りが開ける。もし7日でダメなら7ヶ月、あるいは7年以内に悟れるとブッダは説きました。若いアメリカ人の僧がそれを聞き、今でもそれが真実であるかどうか尋ねました。師であるアーチャンチャーは7日間一瞬たりとも途切れることなく少年を保っていられたら悟りを得ることができるであろうと答えました。若い僧は喜び勇んで7日間の挑戦に取り組みましたが、10分も経たないうちに修行を忘れてしまっていました。はっと我に返り、もう一度挑戦しましたが、またもや取り留めもない考え、おそらく悟った後はどうなるかといったことにとらわれてしまいました。何度も 7日間に挑戦しましたが、その度に少年を保つことに失敗しました。1週間後、僧は悟りは得られませんでしたが、自分の中に繰り返し湧いてくる妄想やさまよう心に非常によく気がつくようになりました。これこそが真の目覚めへの道を歩み出すための大層有効な過程なのです。終わりました。
So you saw the film on Buddha and then you started meditating? Film or story?
It's a movie, Maharaj.
Oh, yeah. So, in scriptures it is said maybe the enlightenment is not possible in one life, maybe 2, 3, 4 more lives necessary. But here you see, only the monk said on 7 days, enlightenment in 7 days. But the condition is this: one has to continue, concentrate on the theme of meditation.
そういう点では、何世も生まれ変わって修行した結果、悟りが開くことができると書いてるんですけれども、この物語では、長僧は7日間一瞬たりとも瞑想の目標から心をそらさなければ悟りを開くことができると教えました。
So this monk tried. After 10 minutes, another thought came. So that broke his concentration. Then what's the kind of thought? What I shall do after enlightenment? How many people will come? How they will respect me? I will become a famous person. So this type of thought broke his concentration.
でも、この若いアメリカ人の僧は10分経たないうちに、瞑想のことを忘れて、殺念に没入しました。悟りを開いたら、どうなるのかな、どのような人は私に敬礼をするのか、有名になってたくさんの人の前に教えるのかな、など。
This actually happened. Swami Adbhutanandaji was one of Sri Ramakrishna's direct disciples. So usually he had a very deep meditation, but one day he had left his seat quite early, and then Sri Ramakrishna asked, "What happened? Why you today got up so early from your meditation?" He said, "Somehow I could not concentrate." Then Sri Ramakrishna asked, "Why?" Then he said, "I was thinking, suppose Mother Kali appears before me, then what's the boon I shall seek from her?" So this thought crossed my mind. Since then I could not concentrate. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, "No, you should not have any desire when you concentrate." So actually, you see, this is not the imaginary one. In Advaita's case, it happened. She thought, suppose Mother Kali appears before me, then what boon shall I seek? The moment this thought crossed his mind, he could not continue his meditation. So the slight desire also is an obstacle to continuous meditation.
スワミ・アドブタナンダというスリラマクリシナの直弟子がいましたが、彼はいつも深い瞑想ができていたんですが、ある日、早く瞑想の坂から立ち上がりました。で、スリラマクリシナは少し驚いて、どうしてそんなに早く立ち上がりましたかと尋ねたら、どうやら私は瞑想した時にこの考えは頭をよぎりました。マザーカーリーは私の目の前に現れたらどういう恵みを頂戴しようかなと思って瞑想ができなくなりました。で、シリラマクリシナは少し叱って、瞑想するときに一切の欲望を 捨ててはならない。
Well, here is talked about 7 days, but I think only 1 day is also enough for meditation, provided we can continuously think about God, even 1 day.
さっきの物語は7日間で悟るということでしたけれども、1日でも十分でしょう。ただ一日中
十分ではないですか？
一日中、神様だけを思い集中することができればということです。
も悟るもできるかもしれない。But why 1 day? You start your meditation after 3 minutes or after 2 minutes, even after 30 seconds, suddenly some thought will come. Those who have experienced, they understand what I say.
1日といえども1時間でも30分でも5分でも3分1分30秒
でも
殺念が入って瞑想から注意をそらしてしまいます。
だけではなく、Ashish, or we may fall asleep.
No, that's nobody consciousness.
Okay, you have to interpret by adding some observation. So, what is the other thing? What happens?
それとも居眠りの状態に入って。
よく経験ありますね。それで、
So
here is one of our attendees here. He was young and surely he had or has interest in spiritual life. So, but at the same time had no idea about what is spiritual life. So he had seen a movie on Lord Buddha. Then Buddha did meditation and then got the enlightenment. So Buddha did meditation, spiritual practice means for 10 years, but the film is for 3 hours. So you cannot afford to show that 10 years meditation in 3 hours film. It has to be from, say, 3 minutes or 4 minutes like that. So then he said, okay, it's so easy. So then he said, okay, let me also sit for meditation. I shall, within 1 hour, I think I shall have the experience. Then he found out after 20-25 minutes, he just started sleeping. So then he left. Then his hope of enlightenment, you see, then it just vanished. So do you know who is that person? You don't know? He's right in front of you. No, right in front of me means if you look, if you sit towards this side, then you'll see.
Yes, I saw that film. That Keanu Reeves is meditating in 10 minutes. All the temptations come, then he says no.
They go away.
Yes. Everything turns. The daggers, the weapons that were throwing at him, they turn into petals, and then he's smiling, and then light is coming up, and he's enlightened. I said, 10 minutes it took. So I'll also reach enlightenment. So I went home. I said, okay. And Lord Buddha said, though the skin may rot away, the bones may wither, and the blood may dry, I shall not leave my seat. So I said the same thing. And 30 minutes later.
So this is how how it happened, you see, getting the enlightenment. There it ended. Then it took so many years to understand at least what is spiritual life. Okay, 今翻訳してください。
ある信者は仏様の映画を見ました。でその映画は 10分以内で仏様の悟りを、はい、
10 years meditation you cannot be seen. In the
Uh.
film it has to be 3 minutes, 10 minutes like that.
Mm.
But other people will be bored. So Buddha is only meditating whole film. Buddha is meditating, okay, they will also start sleeping.
10年間の修行を、まあ、10分とか5分ぐらい
So
以
in
内に、
form of capsule like this, short, very short version.
はい、縮めて見せるんですけど、はい、それを見た人はよし私も仏様のように体がくじびれてもこの座から立たないで悟りを開こうとしたんですけれども、家に早く帰ってそう座って30分後寝てしまいました。
Enlightenmentが終わりです。So, yes. So that is, these things are no, it's not a short, no, as I say, no high jump and no long jump. There is no long jump and high jump in spiritual life. You have to go inch, you have to progress inch by inch, step by step. Then all is possible.
霊的な修行には、高跳び長跳び
ないです。
ない。一歩ずつ進まなければならない。
Okay, now to resume our talk. So we discussed in our pre-lunch session what is most important, that one can combine all these 4 yogas in one's life by following a schedule, and that is what Swamiji, in fact, in Bhagavad Gita, all these yogas are mentioned, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, but nowhere it is said all this can be combined. This is something, as I told you, very interesting. So those who have read Bhagavad Gita, Kedar, you read Bhagavad Gita?
Not completely.
Not completely. Himanshu, what's about you?
Yeah, I've read.
But you see, Shivani, I think you also, I don't know how I read. Now, all these yogas are mentioned, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, but combine these yogas, that idea, not in Bhagavad Gita is also there. So, that is Swami Vivekananda's unique contribution. This thought, yes, it can be combined. And that also, by doing that, one not go to the extreme of these different yogas. You just combine this, and it's all, not only, it's quite interesting also. You know, if you sometimes do only one yoga, it may something more drudgery and non-interesting. Not interesting. But if you combine these 4 yogas, it's in one way quite interesting at the same time. And you progress. So much so that you can even realize it. But you have to follow it until the last, and as I said, with devotion and understanding. Then the result, because I have seen in my life, there are some monks in our order, or senior monks, those who practically did not do in that way spiritual practice, but they are, I should say, they are all realized souls. I saw in my own life. So they just followed the Ramakrishna routine, everyday schedule. So if you do that, then as I said, no one can complain that I have no time to do long time meditation. It's not, simply not necessary, and you cannot do it also. Yes, first of all, it is you have no time. Next, you can do it because your body mind is not prepared for that. Because as mostly if you try to do it, either you will sleep or you will think of something else, not God. So I think the best way is this, combining this 4 yogas. What do you say? Isn't it? It's feasible, practicable, interesting, and at the same time very effective. So try to think of why I discuss, why again and again come to this point, because most of they are all householder devotees. So they complain like they have no time and all these things. I say, even if you have time, you could not do it. So better you try this. And try to combine these 4 yogas and then practice. So Kedar, you got the point? So that's it. Follow it accordingly but do it until the last. And for the rest you depend on God. So by His grace it will be done. So far as we can do, let us do. The rest of the thing we should depend on our chosen deity of God. That's the way, especially in this age, Kali Yuga.
午前中の話のおさらいとして、バガバギターでは4つのヨガが、詳しく説明されているんですけれども、どのように調和するのかについて詳しく書いていない、がスワミビベカナンダは4つのヨガを調和した、スケジュールを作って、それに従うと、理解と愛を持って従うと悟りを開くことができる。一つのヨガだけを見極めるよりも調和した方が面白いではないですか。そしてラマクリスナミッションの中でもそれほど厳しい苦行とか修行できなかった人、お坊さんでもこのスケジュールに従った結果、神様を悟った人もいました。というのは長い時間瞑想するのは難しい。心と体の準備ができていない。その準備ができるのはなかなか難しい。時間があったとしても実践できない。からこちらのスケジュールに従うとより効果的ではないでしょうか。そしてカチューシャでも、長い時間瞑想するよりもこの理想的なスケジュールに従って実践した方が良い。で、残りは神様に頼って任せる。これはカリユガにおいて一番効果的な方法です。
But I think, you see, we cannot see Anirban Maharaj. Just come little forward. Okay. So, you see, I have not read many scriptures, Hinduism, but so far I have nowhere I have seen this combination of all these four yogas. Have you seen anywhere in the scriptures? You see, you think of our Vedanta literature or Shankaracharya or Bhagavatam, all this, combining all these four yogas, I don't think even in Hindu scripture it is very uncommon. I should say it's not there. So that is the contribution, I should say, of Swami Vivekananda in that sense.
ヒンズー教の聖典の中でもバガバッタンでもシャンカラチャリア、などにもこのような、調和、4つのヨガの調和を、見出したことはないので、スワミジの、世界のための独特な貢献というのはこの4つのヨガの調和です。
Now, my question is this. You have some idea about Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga. Now, what are, according to you, the common factors or common ideas of all these four yogas? Ashish, you are a senior devotee, so you should have senior and knowledgeable. So let us hear from you.
この皆さんこの4つのヨガについて何らかのアイデアを持っているんですけれども、共通点というのは何でしょうか。
Shivani, you have to also speak out. Okay.
One common thing in all of them is that you reduce your body consciousness and your ego and your lower self and try to
What?
So maybe one thing common in all four is that you reduce your body consciousness and your lower.
I thought you start with reduce your body weight. Start. When you said body, I thought maybe next you will say to reduce the body weight. Okay, it's good.
The weight is more the consciousness.
Okay.
So body consciousness and lower ego, and try to focus on a higher self, and focus on higher self, and means whatever way, God or spirit. So maybe that is one thing common in all of them, Maharaj.
Okay. Shivani,
So, two comments, Maharaj. I really like the way you put them together, and what came to my mind is the attempt to practice all four in our day-to-day lives reduces the burden of trying to follow any one in a hardcore manner. So to me, it really shows beautifully, like, for example, it's like a middle road, like Lord Buddha had said, that take the middle road.
Chudo.
Yes, so and then I think the common features in all these four is that ultimately we want to reach that realization of the self. So whichever path we follow, as Sri Ramakrishna had said, it would take us to the same goal. So here, practicing all four together also takes us closer to that ultimate aim that we want to achieve. This is my thought.
Good. Nice. So anyone else? Kedar, Himanshu, anyone, anything add?
Nothing to add, the same thing. The objective of any path is union with God. The objective is the same.
Himanshu, anything you want to add? Leo, what's about you? Shanti, okay.
Well,
As a first to translate what they said.
そう、アシスさんは、すべてのヨガの共通点が体意識と英語をできるだけなくしてもっと、霊的なこと神様に集中することです。シバニは、4つのヨガを調和して実践するのはとても素晴らしい。1個だけを、見極めて非常に負担をかけるよりも、ちょうど中道、仏様が説いた中道に従って、実践するのはとてもいい。それによってスリラマクリシュナが説いた私たちが向かっている、自己実現の道へ歩んできて、そこにやがてたどり着きます。I thought of something I read in Raja Yoga these days, Maharaj. Somebody said, when we want to concentrate, then at that moment all the samskaras wake up. But when you keep out restraining the mind with that Kriya Yoga, then another samskara will come that will annihilate all the other. So that idea of oneness. So to the practice of these four, then you raise that samskara of God consciousness and obliterates everything else. So that's mine.
Okay, so translated. Next, Anirban will reply to this question. What is common to all yogas? All yogas. Today our theme is this. So briefly, just tell briefly what some just points. Give some points. These today's theme is what is common to all yoga.
Okay, so I'll give some.
I mean, what is common? So that's the question.
I can.
What are the common factors of all these four yogas? Though goals are methods are different, but what are common? Each yoga tells this.
Okay, some do's and do nots. Do's and do nots. Like, for example, control of senses. Control of senses. For example, Shama and Dhamma. Control of senses is common to all yogas.
Okay.
That whether you practice Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga or Raja Yoga or Jnana Yoga, control of the senses. Then Shraddha, faith. And dedication. And Yeah, these three as far as I think.
These three. Okay. Shanti Sugi. First you want to.
ニラマハラジの答えは、感覚の制御、例えばシャマ、ダマはすべてのヨーガに必要です。そしてスラッダ、信仰心、そして、献身的な心、奉仕の精神で、行うことです。
何でもいい答えで。
4つのヨーガ、カルマヨーガ、
カルマヨーガの
共通点。
同じことは何があります。前と気にし長も参加しますですから。その同じテーマです。
ちゃんと毎日実践してるでしょ。それを話せば。
ヨーヨーガの共通点ですか。
自分の考えで。
いつも神様とつながっていて瞑想をしながらすべての仕事を神様にする。
ちょっとあなただけ聞こえない。
4ヨーガをバラバラに考えるのではなくて、いつも何の仕事をするときにも神様の道具として自分が働き、礼拝として働き、でいつも神様とつながった状態で瞑想でも何でもする。で自分はいつもこの自分のやった行動などを反省内省してディスクリミネーションもするっていうことで、4つのヨーガを自分は統合してやっていますの感じ。
English.
So Shanti said that she tries to practice always keeping in mind that she is God's instrument and that she's doing it for Him, and also by practicing meditation and self-analysis, introspection, and looking deep within her and discriminating. That's the way she combines them.
Okay. Now to my mind, all yogas, in fact all religions, they tell the same thing, that is human life is a very special life, a very unique life. So it's a great contribution. Human life is a great contribution is a great gift from the God. So one should not misuse this gift. One should utilize this gift. So this human birth, in Hindu scripture it is said, after many, many births, one gets a human life, birth as a human being. So every scripture says, or every yoga says, that you see, you are born as a human being and try to utilize this human life, human birth, as a human being. And what is the speciality of you see, as a human being? Immediately you can understand if you distinguish it, if you compare it with an animal being. So animal being and human being, if you compare, then immediately you understand how special is a human being. For example, you see, the animal being, they live mostly on sense level. So they sleep, they eat, and then they procreate. It's finished. But human life, if it is restricted to only those things, then what's the difference between a human being and an animal being? So that scripture gives again and again, draws our attention to this. Because some of the gifts as a human being, for example, we have intelligence, and that intelligence is unlimited, infinite. And then we have a power of discrimination, which the animals don't have. then we have an idea about the progress that we can develop ourselves. But no animal beings think of self-development. It's only human beings who can think of self-development. Then human beings also can achieve that self-development to the extent that he can realize his soul. And by that they can fulfill the purpose of their life as a human being. Now all these things are very special gifts, and not only that, from secular point of view, they can invent something new. Their intelligence is something which is productive, which is constructive, which is innovative. The animal beings also have intelligence. The elephants, and they are very intelligent elephants. But they cannot do something new. It's not an innovative intelligence. You understand the difference? The human beings have innovative intelligence. You understand my point? And not only that, it has the idea of self-development, idea of self, Atman, and also to realize that, and by realizing that, the fulfillment of the purpose, of the fulfillment of the human life. So all these things, and then conscience, right, what is right and what is wrong. So this moral life and spiritual life, it is special to human beings only. There is no moral life and spiritual life in the animal being. So you understand the difference? So then when you have such a potentiality as a human being, so if we don't try to manifest that potentiality, what a loss. What a loss to be being. So you were born as a human being, you had the potentiality, but you did not manifest it. That is one say lots of money, but he is not utilizing that money in a proper way. So it's like that. You have money, but you are not using it. You just keep it like that, and you lead a life of a poor man. So all the scriptures, all the yogas emphasize that human life is something special. In Ramayana, in Gospel of Ramakrishna, it said, Ramchandra is addressing his brother Lakshman and says, Lakshman, see, elephant is such a huge animal, but it cannot think of God. See, if you compare with a human being, how big is an elephant? But even if so big elephant, such a big elephant, such a tremendous strength it has, but it cannot think of God. It cannot think of infinity. It cannot think abstract things. So see the difference between these two? Now, once you have been born as a human being, as according to Shankaracharya, you say, very, very, by doing lots of meritorious works only. In your previous life, you have been born as a human being. And by God's grace, Daivanugraha hetukam, by God's grace only you get this human life. There are three things: human life, and then company of holy men, and the desire for liberation. These three things are special gifts from God. Daivanugraha hetukam, manushyatam, mumukshattam, mahapurusha samsraya. So among these three, manushyatam, human birth, mumukshuttam, desire for liberation, mahapurusha samsraya, company of holy men. These are all not possible in order to get it in just an ordinary way. It says God's special compassion, because of God's special compassion, only by God's special grace only one can have this. So what I want to say, this human life, all the religions, all the yogas say, utilize this, your life as a human being. So that's one common to all yogas. We can brief, summarize it.
マハラジのお考えは、すべてのヨガと宗教の起点の一つとして、人間として生まれてきたのは 神様からの特別な恵みです。そして、人間として生まれた目的を全うすべきです。この人生を有効活用しなければなりません。動物と比べると私たちはどれほど優れている存在か分かります。私たちには無限な知性、識別力と自己成長、実現ができます。悟りを開くこともできます。新しいものも発明することもできますが、動物は知性があるんですけれども、新しいものを発明することもできないし、良心の呵責もないし、道徳感もないし、神様のことも考えることはできない。私たちは、お金持ちのようですが、持っているその富を使用しないまま人生を終えることが多い。私たちの潜在能力を十分に果たしていないので非常にもったいないです。で、ラマヤナでは、スリラームが自分の、ラクスマンの弟に向かっていました。ラクスマンよ、この強大な層をご覧ください。どれほど大きくて強烈な力を持っている。なのに神様のことを考えることができない。
Have you seen any elephant to meditate? No, it does not make me. No. So
It's an elephant that paints pictures.
that's also about training. It does not know it's a painting. So they are trained in that way, so they paint in that way.
シャンカラチャリアも、前世の功徳によって、そして神様の恩寵で人間として生まれてきた。で、水の恩寵があります。人間として生まれてきたことと、魔神の修行者、聖なる交わりを得たことと、悟りへの渇望、憧れがあることが3つを集まっているから、この人生を大切にして有効活用にしましょ
う。We discussed this point in Bhagavad Gita. Shanti覚えてますか? Maha, how fortunate we are to study the scriptures. インド大使館にありましたでしょ? You remember. And not only that, you see, you are studying Bhagavad Gita from a person who is born in India. Then all of a sudden, anyway. So this is all, in fact, the grace of God. So this is one point. Number two, all you have already told, all yogas, you see, they talk about the same goal, same purpose of life. So that is realization of the truth. And so that's all yogas, it's common to all. All yogas talk of this same purpose of life, same goal of life.
そして4つのヨーガはすべて、ドイツの人生の目的、つまり真理を悟ることについて語っています。
Then the third is, all yogas tell the result of, though the paths are different, methods are different, but when they realize by following the separate paths, the result is the same. That's also common to all yogas, isn't it? They are not different. So, you see, when you realize, then the paths of realization are different, but the realization itself is the same. The effect is the same. That means, vidyate hridayaganti, all the knots of ignorance which are in heart, that is gone. Then one become fearless, one become full of joy, one become full of peace, one get the highest knowledge, then the freedom, fearlessness. So every yogas, you see, when you are, successful practice on yoga and realize the goal, then the effects are the same. There is no difference in that. So that's also common to all yogas. Result is the same. The paths are different.
悟りへの道の方法は異なるものの結果は同じです。つまり心にあるすべての無知の結び目は、ほぐしていうんですかね、神様を悟ります。真理を悟ります。
Then another which is common to all, every yoga gives great importance to practice. Without practice, nothing will happen. So that's also common to all yogas. No yoga says only by reading the books, only by talking of your spiritual path, only by listening to your spiritual path or some yoga, you'll realize. None. Not a single yoga. Everyone says, Dirgha Kala Nairantara Sevitam. 2 points. Long time and all the time. You get it? So one should practice for a long time and especially all the time. So all yogas give great emphasis on practice, not merely listening or talking. You know, now YouTube, some talks are very popular. But my question is that by listening, you may listen to this type of talks for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Nothing will change. You may enjoy the talk. Talk is nice, beautiful. But unless you try to follow it, it's pretty sure that you cannot change at all. You remain the same person. So sometimes people say, I glibly, I listened to that Swami's talk, that person's talk. It's so interesting. But my question is fine. But what's the change in you? After listening to these talks, what's the change you see in yourself? That's my question. And that's the final criteria. You understand what I say? Because after this YouTube and all these things, so many interesting talks are there. In Hindi, Bengali, English, and talks are so nice, no doubt about it. But finally it doesn't matter at all to you. Does it remove your fear? Does it remove your suffering? Do you get peace? Do you get joy? Can you control your senses? If the question is no, then finally it amounts to nothing. Only enjoying the lecture, I listen to his talk or that monk's talk every time, fine. But what's the result? So deeply think about it. And another thing, what I want to say, listening to this type of talks is good, but on the other hand, what's the negative side of it? You slowly, you distance yourself from the original source. So you now depend more on secondary source. So original source, like the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, like the Bhagavad Gita, so these are the original, or the Bible, these are the original sort of the direct disciples. If you listen too much on this type of talks and you become, too much fond of it, then slowly you cut yourself off from the original, the genuine, which comes from a realized soul. So only words from a realized soul can change your life, not the secondary sources like that, however interesting it be. So I'm just telling you as a matter of caution, because some days I think some people so much they talk about all these talks and like these things. So I think, listen to those talks, that's fine, but at the same time, have an introspection, how much it really helps to change you. Shivani, you understand what I say?
It reminds me one of your first essays that I read after I came to know you. You had me read a short essay, and asked me to comment, and you had written about assimilation. You
Mm.
wrote about
Spiritual,
Shravanamana
yes.
and Nididashana.
Yes.
And unless we assimilate, even if you listen 100 times,
Mm.
it's no use.
And the talk is wonderful, but finally it doesn't help you. So remember this. So all yogas, they give emphasis on this. Practice, practice, practice. If you say butter, 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 butter will not come from the milk. For ages you can repeat. Milk is before you and you say butter, 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 butter will come. Will butter come? So there is a process. You have to follow the process, then you get the butter. And then you can taste it and enjoy it and get nourished by it. So most of our, what I say, the trend of it nowadays, they want to make it very, I should say, make the spiritual life very easy going. It's not that. It's really not that. By mere listening or by mere talking, you cannot lead a spiritual life. Okay. So this I wanted to say. This is also common to all yogas. Isn't it, Honorable Maharaj? Practice, practice, practice. All yogas, without any fail. Dirghakala, nairantara, sevitam. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, these things are there. And in Bhagavad Gita, Arjun, mam anusmara yuddhacha. Arjun, fight. And remember, anusmara means smara and anusmara. There's two mean difference. Smara means remember, and anusmara means always remember. So emphasis is this, always remember. Not casually one time or second time, or 2 times a day. No. Try to remember as long as possible. So all yogas give these two important. Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. Everywhere this is about practice, 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 practice. Okay.
そして4つ目は、実践第一、実践しないと結果が一切得られません。どんなに素晴らしい講話を聞いても、どんなに素晴らしい本を読んでも、会話議論をしても、実践しないと、何も変わりません。同じ人間のままに、残ります。パタンジャリヨガスートラでは、長い練習といつも練習しないといけないと、諭されています。最近は有名なお坊さんの講話が YouTube などで流行っているんですけれども、それを聞くだけで実践しない人が多いし、一時的な一番大事な聖典、とか源から離れていきますね。その、二次的な、言葉とか聖典とか意見を聞いて、例えばラマクリスナの福音書、聖書、ギータなど一番大事な、本を読まないで、この、最近流行っているお坊さんの美辞麗句などに流されてしまいます。その悟った人の言葉を読まない、聞かないと。
This is the most important, 悟った人。The words of a realized soul. That's the primary source. That you should read again and again, again and again, rather than listening to the secondary sources.
その悟った人の、言葉だけは私たちを自由に導いてくださいます。例えば自分の目の前にミルクがあったとしても、バターバターバターバターと何回も唱えてもバターにならない。それをかき回さなければなりません。かき回すとやがてバターになって、それを食べて、自分の体の一部分になります。つまり身につけることが必要です。ギーターでも、クリシュナがアルジュナに向かっていました。常に私のことを思い出しながら戦いなさい。 これは4つのヨガの共通点となります。
Now, what to practice?
そして、何を実践すべきですか？
So about that already some of you told. Ashish also told, Ashish, Anjana also told, Shanti also told. Now basically two things you have to practice. I mean there are so many things are there. Only two things you always remember, what you should practice, what we should practice. Only two.
いろいろな実践がある中、あと皆さんもご共有いただいた意見もございますが、たった2つのことを実践すれば十分です。
The first is, and most important is, purification of heart. As in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, in Bengali it is called Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi, original Bengali. Actually it's called the Sanskrit word also, Chitta and Shuddhi, both it's a Sanskrit word, Chitta Shuddhi. Purification of heart, or in say purification of mind. This is number one. Today, there's a book of reference where all the words of gospel, they selected some words and then that particular word has appeared in how many times in that book. In English, what is that? It's called that?
Index?
Index? No? I told you that it's not concordance. Concordance. Bible has also concordance. How a particular word appeared in how many times in God. So in that way, gospel also a book is there in Bengali. So I was checking, at least, and AIM did not record all what Sri Ramakrishna said, but whatever, AIM himself listened to, so he recorded. 15 to 16 places. It's the same thing. Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi. Purification of heart, purification of heart, purification of heart. As Jesus said, that parable of sower, if the ground is not prepared, if the ground is rocky, full of bush, thorny bush, then however good seed you may sow, nothing will yield. Isn't it? It's parable of sower. So it's symbolically, use this word symbolically, this example symbolically. So that is actually this purification of heart. Without that, then again, however you do practice and try to practice, it will finally does not yield any result. So this Chitta Shuddhi, 日本語で何が福音の中に何が書いてあります。心の何が純粋さ、清らかさ、純粋さ、何が日本語で翻訳？純粋で出てない？覚えてないその言葉、何があります？心は純粋になってそれ違う。The purification of heart, Chitta Shuddhi. The 福音と皆さんと何回も読んでます。その中に覚えてない？OK、今ちょっと時間もったいないですから。純粋な心で pure heart。その純粋な心で何？それから何？ 言葉、もしセンテンスの中に OK。それが心の、例えばさっき言いますね、これ、純粋さ、or what is also say? Purification, liver, 純粋さ and then 清らかさ。そう、心の清らかさ。ね、心の純粋さ。So the purification of heart. So this is most important practice. All yogas in different terms, either say Shama, Dhamma, or say here in Yama, Niyama, basically all this purification of heart. So in all yogas, they give great importance on this purification of heart. Kokoro no, ne, kore junsui sha, sekiyaraka sha. And now, what does it mean by this purification of heart? Translate first. Junsui sha kokora. Purification of heart. Sri Ramakrishna in Gospel, so many times.
シリラマクリシナの福音書では少なくとも60回
少なくても
60回ぐらいの、チッタスッディという言葉が記載されておりまして、心を純粋にする、清らかにする、しとやかさは非常に大事。聖書にも例えば種をまく人の例えがありまして、乾燥した地、あとトゲトゲの茂の中に種をまいてもなかなか植物が増えない、土台が整ってないからという例えがありますので非常に大事ですが、その具体的な内容というのはこれから。
You know, in the gospel there is a story that one child is going to school, but he has to go through a forest to go to the school, and he is quite afraid while going alone to that forest. So he told it to his mother, and his mother advised, you see, whenever you are afraid, you call your elder brother Madhusudan Dada, then Madhusudan Dada will help you. So then the child believed it. He was a simple child, innocent child. And then when he was going to the school and passing through the forest, then he became so afraid. Then he was crying and called piteously, where is Madhusudan Dada, where is Madhusudan, please come, I am so afraid. Then Madhusudan Dada, actually God, appeared as a young boy, and he said, why are you afraid, why are you crying, I am here, I shall escort you. So every day it would happen like that. Now what happened, there is some ceremony in the house of that teacher, and then he asked everyone, his students, to bring some food for that ceremony, then whatever possible. Then this child, he was so poor, then he asked his mother, give me something because my teacher needs something, some stuff for the performance of the ceremony, because he wants to feed guests on that occasion. Then his mother advised, okay, you ask your Madhusudan Dada, he will give you. Then Madhusudan Dada, he also, when he was going to the school, then Madhusudan Dada appeared. Then he told Madhusudan Dada, please give me something so that I can carry it for my teacher. Then Madhusudan Dada gave him a small earthen pot which was full of yogurt. So on small earthen pot full of yogurt. So the child, you see, brought it and gave it to his teacher. Then his teacher became very angry. So it is only small earthen pot full of yogurt. So with it, how one can feed the guests? Then he said, no, my Madhusudan Dada said that if you just, what is that? If you, empty it, then it will be again full. So if you empty it, whatever card is there, if you empty that pot, then it will be again refilled. So then, so surprisingly, so many times is emptied and then it will be never empty. It will again be full with card. So then he was so surprised. Then he asked, where from did you get this earthen pot which could not be emptied? Then he said frankly, why my Madhusudan Dada gave it to me. Then he said, I want to see your Madhusudan Dada, teacher. He forgot about the ceremony. I want to see your Madhusudan Dada. So the boy said, okay, it's not a big deal because every day I meet him. So when he came along with his teacher and wanted to show Madhusudan Dada to his teacher, so then he asked Madhusudan Dada, please come, my teacher has come to meet you. But Madhusudan Dada did not appear. Then he started crying, Madhusudan Dada, every day you come, why didn't you come today? Then the voice was heard, only the voice. You see, your mind is pure. That's why I appeared before you. But the mind of your teacher is not pure. That's why he cannot see me. So see the point here. Chitta Shuddhi, pure mind. So even if God is there, suppose, God is so near to us, isn't it? Nearest of the near. He is inside us. Why can we see? Because our mind is not pure. Is it not the only reason? Because Atman is in everyone. Atman is in everyone. So though there is Atman in us, though God is in us in the form of Atman, why can't we see? The only answer is your mind is not pure. It is said in another language, Maya or say ignorance, whatever it may be. Basically the impurity is there. That's the only reason that though God is so near to us, we cannot see Him.
ある、物語があります。ある学童、若い男の子が学校先生のグルク、he was going to Gurukul Maharaj?
Not Gurukul. Gurukul means you have to stay with the Guru.
Just going. 先生の学校に、通ってたんですけれども、森を通らなければならないので、非常に怖くて、お母さんに言いました。そこを通ると非常に怖い。どうすればいいんですか？お母さんは、いや、あなたは、マドスーダンお兄さんを呼びなさい。怖い時に来てくださいと呼んでみて。そして子供は純粋な信仰を持ってたので、森を通ってた時にやはり怖くなり、マドスーダナお兄さんどこですか？来てください来てくださいと泣いてで結局マドスーダナお兄さんが現れました。自分よりもう少し年上の男の子として現れたんですけど、一緒に学校に行きました。でこれは毎日が繰り返されましたが、ある時先生の家で儀式が、ありました。でその儀式に来るお客様を食べさせるために何かの捧げ物を、調達してくださいと、子供たちにお願いしました。 子供がお母さんのところに行って何かください、と頼んだんですけれども、お母さんはあなたはマドスーダナのお兄さんに、頼んでください。そうしますと子供が、マドスーダナのお兄さんに頼んで何か捧げ物ください。そうすると、ヨーグルトで満たされた小さい土壺が、くれた。で、先生のところに持ってきて、先生がそれ見たら非常に怒りました。こんな小さい壺で、誰をも食べさせることができない。
I think in India, in that kuri, small earthen pot, they sell from the sweetmeat shop. The yogurt is full of that. Have you seen that type of the tea? They also serve tea. I don't in different language. In Bengali call it bhaan.
Bhaan is called only for the tea, but for the sweet it is called pati.
Pati and the khuri, they also call in Bengali khuri. So anyway, different language. But I think you have seen that a small earthen pot. So like that, they serve tea also in that way. So like that. So anyway, so they know. And so anyway, the thing is this.
非常に小さかったので、
But in India, when you visit by railway, in railway stations, they sell the tea in a small earthen pot. Toshiko-san, in station, they sell tea, chai, a small earthen pot.
Nowadays, most of them sell in plastic.
But actually, it is more bio-friendly, that earthen pot. Because it is, okay, now it's another issue. Then,
それは全然足りないと先生が怒りましたけど、子供がいえマドスーダナのお兄さんは彼になったらまた満たされるから、使ってください。そして不思議なことに何回も空にしてもまたヨーグルトで満たされて、全員にヨーグルトを配りました。で、先生は非常に驚きました。あなたはそのマドスーダナお兄さんを見せてください。で、自分の家の儀式全部忘れて、で、森に一緒に行きました。で、子供が森に入った時に、マドスーダナお兄さんどこですか、来てくださいと呼んでもなかなか現れてこない。で、泣いてどうしたんですか、毎日現れてきてるんですけど、で、空からの声が聞こえました。あなたの心は純粋ですから、私は自分の姿を毎日見せているんですけれども、あなたの先生の心は純粋ではないので、自分は彼の前に現れてこない。
Then a simple example of mirror. If the mirror, if the glass of the mirror is clean, we can see our face clearly. But if it is full of dirt, can you see it? We can't see it. So this is a very simple example. So our chitta is like that. It is basically, nature is clean. But so many darts have accumulated on it that now we cannot see. It cannot reflect the Atman. It can reflect God. They can think of the lake, Mizumi. If the water is dirty, if there is continuous wave, then you cannot see what is at the bottom of the lake. So to see what is in the bottom of the lake, two conditions are necessary. For water to be clean, and then there should be wave. Water should be still. That is what is called yoga, according to Patanjali, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, isn't it? So chitta vritti means wave. Always there is a wave in the mind stop, continuously wave. And because the wave is there, unless it is still, we cannot see what actually is there inside our chitta. What is our real nature? So the whole challenge, spiritual life, challenge of spiritual life, or all the practices of spiritual life is centered on that. How to make the chitta vritti calm and quiet isn't it is not the theme of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra? But if you introspect, you see how many waves, 心の中に波、何のその波が何の種類の波？Yoku, in Japanese. Okay. So what type of waves? The wave of desire, wave of attachment, wave of aversion, wave of anger, wave of egotism, wave of jealousy. Continuously there is a wave after wave, wave after wave, from morning until you go to bed. So if this is the condition of our mind, how can the mind reflect the Atman? How can that mind reflect God? It has the capacity, but because the present situation is like that, it cannot reflect. See, you introspect, then everyone is from, if we introspect ourselves, soon we understand every moment how few times the wave of God, wave of thought of God appears. Wave of thought, how little in comparison with the wave of anger, the wave of jealousy, the wave of desire, the wave of attachment, the wave of aversion. If you compare, then we will understand how little there are the waves of thoughts of God. Very little. So let us become aware of it. This is the central thing of spiritual practice, Chitta Shuddhi. That's why Sri Ramakrishna again and again says, unless you purify your heart, you cannot progress in spiritual life. So that is one of the most important practice, Chitta Shuddhi. How to clean the mirror of our mind. How to make the wave of our mind lake calm and quiet, still and clean. That is what is called Chitta Shuddhi. So this is also common to all yogas.
神様は私たちの一番親しい、一番近い存在、自分たちの中に存在しているのに、どうして見ることができない？答えは、心は純粋ではないからです。鏡に例えられます。散った心の根本的な、姿は、綺麗ですけれども、汚れていたら正しくその反射できない。私たちが鏡の前に立っても自分の反射はよく見えないから、アトマンも同じように自分たちの心の中に正しく反射されない。湖の水は凪でなければ底を見ることができない。それはヨーガチッタブリッティニローダハというパタンジャリの格言の意味です。心の波を凪にする。それは霊的修行の要点ですね。一番大事なポイント。内省すると自分の心の中に神という考えに比べてどれほど、執着、嫌悪感、怒り、エゴ、嫉妬などが現れてくるか分かるでしょ
う。どうですか？そうではないですか？ If we introspect seriously and sincerely, is it not the fact of our life? So then the practice is to finish it, done?
Almost. だからスリラーマクリシュナは、純粋でなければ霊的な進歩ができないと何回もおっしゃいました。
Now, in Gita it is said, this how it manifests that we have the mind is impure. So kama, krodha, lobha. Kama, that means desire and especially lust. Then krodha, anger. Then lobha, greed. Then also ego is there, egotism. Now, or pride. You don't say pride. Now these are the main four symptoms of our impurity of our mind.
心の、不純の、代表的な現れは、カーマ、特に肉欲ですね。クローダは怒り、ローバ、貪欲、そして
うぬぼれ、
傲慢。
4. Kama, Krodha,
Yes,
Lobha.
I mentioned 4 in the beginning.
It's 4. Okay. Now tell me, what's the root of all again this 4?
この4つの源とは何でしょうか？
What's the root cause? Okay, then any other? Root cause is ignorance. Ashish, you're thinking?
Associating with the body.
Associating oneself with the body. Then, hey, Sheba, you tell us something. Vishwachisto, what I am discussing. Buchisto naki buchishna. Tell. Key problem taki. What is the root problem? Shanti. Maya to futatsu. Maya sanskar. Hitatsu daki. Maya. Good. Toshiko-chan. Same. Kedar? Ignorance.
Or we feel separate from others. So, or we can also say selfishness.
あなたどうですか？あなたの考え我々の不純、今の不純ですね、ここ。何が源の原因が何ですか？源の原因分かりますね。Mr. Translator, Interpreter.
I read it recently, Maharaj.
What you read recently? You read so many things.
Swamiji Maharaj.
What?
He said, the soul is ever free, beyond pain, pleasure, but the moment it identifies with from egotism to buddhi and to the body, then the problem begins. But identification, Maharaj, when you let the soul be identified with everything that is material.
Okay, now you interpret what you heard, different answers.
Oh. アシーシさんは
not just tell the answers.
自分は体であるということを意識すると、あと無知と、マーヤと他はあったっけ？サムスカーラね。と、自分、魂を、心、英語、識別、ブッディとかに、同一視することです。
Yes, you are all true. But Sri Ramakrishna also explained in that way. Kacha ami, unripe ami. So, jukuste inai, watashi, then what is that kacha ami or unripe ami? Pakami, kachami, unripe I and ripe I. Or you may say matured I or immatured I. You translate it. So then, in Japanese,
未成年の自分と成長した自分熟した十分に熟した
matured eye or immature eye or green eye, unripe eye, ripe eye.
熟した自分と未熟な自分。そう。
Now what does it mean? Actually it is this, that as Leo said, the moment we identify ourselves with body and mind, then trouble starts. Whole trouble start from that. That's the origin of, you may call it under the influence of Maya, because of ignorance, whatever it may be the reason. But thing is this, because of ignorance, because of Maya, the moment you identify yourself not with Atman, but with body and mind, which is temporary, which is fleeting, which is finite, which is relative, instead of the self or Atman, which is infinite, which is permanent, which is absolute, the trouble starts. The chitta becomes ashuddha. So we have to become aware of it, and then we have to disidentification. See, from disidentification of myself from the body mind and identification with the Atman. So this is, in fact, if you analyze it, then it comes to it finally. Okay? Then desire, greed, anger, all these things follow after that. So that's the root cause.
未熟な私というのは、そして、不純な心の源というのは、アートマンと同一しないで、心、エゴ、知性、体と同一するは原因ですね。それはあくまでも一時的で相対的な存在ですので、永遠で絶対の存在である神様アートマン、に、心を相対的なものから引き戻して脱同一化してでアートマンに定住させる必要があります。そうしないとこの体とか一時的なものに、同一視すると、欲望、貪欲、怒りなどが生じてきて、不純になってしまいます。
Now, how to solve this problem? Now, different yogas prescribe different ways. Basically, these are two. One is Jnana Yoga's way, another is Bhakti Yoga's way. I think very few persons can follow the Jnana Yoga's way effectively. That means I am Atman, I am Atman. However you tell I am Atman, if you have strong body consciousness, presently you have tremendous body consciousness. So, unless that body consciousness is reduced by severe spiritual practices, I am Atman, 1,000 times you may repeat it, nothing will happen. Because body consciousness is very, very strong. Only by repeating I am Atman, you don't become Atman. So this is very difficult. Another way is to think, to see God in everything. In one way, it's spiritualizing the everyday life. So the solution is, as I said, how to make our mind pure, chitta shuddhi. The easiest way, I should say, what everyone can practice is this spiritualizing the everyday life, either by I mean, there are two ways. One is Jnana Yoga, which is difficult, but other which is more easy to practice. It is also spiritualizing every day. That is, to see the presence of God in everything. So, spiritualizing everything, our every thought, our every activity, our every action, our every movement, to spiritualize it, to associate with God. This is, I think, what one can practice and which is possible to practice, and this is the most effective way so that we can make our mind pure, Chitta Shuddhi. And once Chitta Shuddhi is there, then other things become easy. So, as I said, this is bhakti way. You see, to see God or one's chosen deity, whatever one may be, it may be Krishna or it may be Ram or maybe Ramakrishna. So here are many devotees of Ramakrishna, so they can see everything, in every act, presence of Ramakrishna. So this is a practice which is just one can try with that. Whatever we work, we are working to please Sri Ramakrishna, we are working as an instrument of Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever we eat, offered to Sri Ramakrishna. So thinking in that way. Getting up early in the morning, see the picture of Sri Ramakrishna. When you go to bed, see the picture of Sri Ramakrishna. Other time you try to chant the name of Sri Ramakrishna. In that way, let Sri Ramakrishna be the center of our life. Let one's chosen deity be the center of our life. So, to make Sri Ramakrishna our center of life is much easier than to make Brahman, because we have no idea of Brahman. What is Brahman? How many faces he had? How many legs it had? We have no idea at all. We have it's just a word to us. But Sri Ramakrishna, in that sense, we have a picture of him. You see, he lived just some years before. So much, you see, recorded things, episodes are there. So it's more tangible to us, isn't it? So that's why we can have identification with, and you see, making Sri Ramakrishna center of life is much easier than any abstract ideas like Atman or Brahman. So that's why I say it's also equally effective to make our mind pure, Chitta Shuddhi. So I say that this is one most important practice. Okay? Hmm.
具体的な実践の方は2つあります。1つ目はギャーナーと、もう1つはバクティです。ギャーナー、本当に実践できるのは、わずかな人です。この、私はアートマン、私はアートマン、ボンが一行を繰り返しても、体意識が少しが残っていたら、本当にその意味が理解することができない。かなり厳しい苦行を重ねた上で体意識をなくしたとき、初めて実践できる。もう一つの簡単な方法はバクティヨーガの道です。すべての存在ものの中に、偏在する神様の姿を見ることです。毎日の生活を、霊的化する、自分の意した、それに置き換えて、ラマクリスナ化する、クリスト化するなどですね。例えば自分は、ラマクリシナの道具、で、ラマクリシナのために仕事をする、ラマクリシナのために食事をとる、そしてそのお供えする、はい、で一日の中に何回も写真を見たり名前を唱えたりして自分の人生の中心にする、こちらの方が実践しやすいし、これによって心も、きれいになっていきます。ブラフマンというのは抽象的すぎて、腕、足何本があるか想像しにくいけれども、スリラマクリシナはより身近な存在で、写真もありますし、たくさんの記述もあるので、具体的な姿を想像しやすい。 し、ブラフマを瞑想すると同じ効果が得られますのでおすすめです。
So I said two practices. One practice is Chitta Shuddhi, purification of heart. Another is focusing on God. But the moment we practice the spiritualizing, that it combines both. That means it combines, and on the one hand, purification of heart, and on the other hand, focusing on Sri Ramakrishna. So these two practices, one is purification of mind, and another is focusing on God, to think more and more about God. So this practice, spiritualizing our everyday life, it combines both, isn't it? It combines both the practice of Chitta Shuddhi and at the same time focusing on God. So it has dual effects. So that's why if we just try to spiritualize our life, you know, Swami Ashokanandaji has a beautiful, he was one of our great scholar monks who was head of the San Francisco Center. He did not write many books. In fact, he did not write, any book in that sense. He gave discourses. Later on, those are collected and published in the form of a books or booklet. So one book is this, Spiritualizing Everyday Life. It's a wonderful essay. From the internet you can find out. So read that, Spiritualizing Everyday Life. So what we discussed this, that's the actual application, it's the implementation of, it's a practicalization of this idea, spiritualizing our everyday life. If we do that, then Chitta Shuddhi is also possible, and at the same time focusing on also God also is possible. And if we can do it, then finally, as you said, we can easily realize the Atman, realize the God, which is in us, which is in everyone. So this in fact some substance of what I talk on what is common to all yogas.
私たちは毎日の生活を霊的化することによって特に神様を私たちの生活の中心にすることによって、チッタスーティ、心を純粋することと、もう一つのは神様を私たちの人生の中心にすることができます。過去のサンフランシスコの、ベランタ教会の長でしたスワミアショーカーナンダの講演からまとまった冊子があります。それは
booklet.
That's called 冊子。毎日の生活を霊的化する。皆様を読んでいただければ具体的な実践の仕方もわかるかと思います。このポイントは、4つのヨガの共通点、をまとめて、今日の話の要点になります。以上です。
Okay. Thank you so much. ありがとうございました for your patiently listening to this talk. And now, first Sheba, you sing a song. And then Animal Maharaj will sing. どうぞ、これマイクロフォン。Come over, come to this person, face the and microphone, Shanti, 準備してください。これを
大丈夫です。大丈夫。I'll sing a Meera bhajan today. प्रभु जी प्रभु जी अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ प्रभु जी अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ तुम्हारी कारण सब सुख छोड़ा तुम्हारी कारण सब सुख छोड़ा अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ प्रभु जी अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ अब छोड़ना ही वाणी प्रभु जी अब छोड़ना ही वाणी प्रभु जी चरण के पास बुलाओ चरण के पास बुलाओ अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ प्रभु जी अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ बिरह बिथा लागे मोरा अंतर सो तुम आके बुझाओ बिरह बिथा लागे मोरा अंतर सो तुम आके बुझाओ मीरा दासी जन्म जन्म की मीरा दासी जन्म जन्म की अंग से अंग लगाओ अंग से अंग लगाओ अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ प्रभु जी अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ प्रभु जी अब मोहे क्यों तरसाओ
ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र किलकिलाई उठत धाई गिरत भूमि लटपटाई किलकिलाय उठत धाई गिरत भूमि लटपटाई धाई मातु गोद लेत धाई मात गोद लेत दशरथ की रानिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र तुलसीदास अति आनंद तुलसीदास अति आनंद देख के मुखारविंद तुलसीदास अति आनंद देख के मुखारविंद रघुवर छवि के समान रघुवर छवि के समान रघुवर छवि बनिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र अंगर रज अंगलाई अंगर रज अंगलाई विविध भांति सोदुलार अंगर रज अंगलाई विविध भांति सोदुलाई तन मन धन बार बार तन मन धन बार बार कहत मृदु बचनिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र ठुमके चलत रामचंद्र जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय जय महामाई की जय जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय जय गंगा माई की जय जय श्री बुद्धदेव की जय
So now, ちょっとだけ瞑想して、then 今日プログラム終わり。Then keep, Ashish, put out the light. Light, light, put out. Put out. Off. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Okay, thank you very much. So today is the day of talk and 29th will be the day of practice. Akhanda Yapam will be a day of practice. So please, you are welcome. Whoever you can come, attend it. Okay. ありがとうございました。